It's been a pretty busy past couple of days. Junichi Masuda's been tweeting about renewal and London. Haters are super butthurt that Pokemon Let's Go was a success, which means we're going to be getting more Pokemon Let's Go games in the future. But the thing is, it's spooky right now. You know, something's building up. Something's coming soon, and because of that, I want to keep the discussion going. So if you end up enjoying the video, don't forget to leave a like. We need to drown out the hate as much as possible and have the Pokemon community just get better and better as we go into the 2019 Pokemon Switch reveal. And we're going to do that today by talking about an open world Pokemon experience. Because here's the weird thing, that since Pokemon Let's Go isn't the game that people were expecting for the Nintendo Switch, and the 2019 game is what everyone's kind of rebuilding their idea of a Nintendo Switch Pokemon game in their mind, we can go back through all the interviews. We can pretty much just reset an entire year and then see where the future of Pokemon is going. And for a lot of people, they're probably going to be upset to find out that we are 99.9% not getting an open world Pokemon experience on Nintendo Switch. Because Junichi Masuda, he just says that Pokemon is incompatible with an open world Pokemon game. Sounds weird, but let's get into it. So yeah, we have Pokemon developers talk about their console RPG debut on Switch. This is from Game Informer, and this was before Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So doing a lot of exclusive interviews with Game Freak. I believe they went out to the offices, or Game Freak came over to them, and they did like a lot of video interviews, and they got a lot of information to try to hype up the future of Pokemon, as people were pretty not interested in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So here's one thing they had. All I ask is that they take the basic Pokemon premise of gotta catch them all in a large open world-ish world, bam, done. And their response to that is, we're making it now. Whoops, I clicked on the wrong thing. They're pretty much just like, yeah, we're making it now. So that was on August 8th. The future looked bright for an open world-ish Pokemon game, the idea that everyone has for the Nintendo Switch. And the really spooky thing is, the way that they say, you know, we're making it now, they're actually talking about the 2019 game. So they're talking about the game that's going to be announced here really soon and not Pokemon Let's Go right here. Okay, that's kind of strange. But then just a few days later, this is like a whole week-long string of things. Game Freak on player freedom versus story in Pokemon. Freedom. Open world. Alright, let's see what Junichi Masuda has to say about, you know, it maybe is something that the fans want, but Junichi Masuda is still not on board, despite being asked multiple times, constantly, about an open world Pokemon experience. So because it's a video, and I couldn't really find any excerpts online, I'm pretty much just going to show what Junichi Masuda said about it when it comes to questions about the open world Pokemon game. You know, do you think it's possible for there to be an open world Pokemon game? I think anything's possible. Alright, a little suggestive right there, like as in possible, as in you're making it now, so that's where the possibility is going to come into play. So then, for example, an open world like Zelda, if you were to be exploring that world and catching Pokemon in that space, would that be the best way to enjoy the experience? Yes, Junichi Masuda, yes, that would be the best way of enjoying that experience. You want to know why? Because that's how you would experience it in the real world. That's what the anime is about. That's what, like, the entire idea of Pokemon is. You run out into the woods, and then you just go and chase down Pokemon until you catch the one you want, or probably die because you're a little kid running around with creatures that can just explode you. Either way, let's keep on going with this. You know, if we could find a way to make that kind of setting work with that gameplay. So it sounds like when they say it like that, you know, that they haven't even figured out how to make it work. But by this point, you know, 2017, the 2019 Pokemon game was already under development. It was announced by that point. So it already had at least a year, if not more, of development underway. And they're talking about like, well, we still don't know how to make the setting work. So it seems like that right there, you know, we have to wait for the future of Pokemon and how long into the future. And one thing I didn't really consider as I was going through these interviews recently, or not recently, but, you know, a year ago when we were doing other discussions about this, it feels like this would be more of spin-off territory, but that isn't what people want. People don't want an open world Pokemon catching simulator spin-off game that doesn't interact with the main series. Because the reason why people play main series is so they get that full Pokemon experience, and then they go transition into the battling where it feels like it means something. A spin-off game doesn't really have that much meaning behind it, so that could lead to some problems. Giving players a fun reason to go out and capture Pokemon, then there's always a possibility. Yeah, the existence of that. Just going out and capturing Pokemon in an open environment is fun. And the weird thing is, they were kind of working on Pokemon Let's Go at this time. And the Pokemon Let's Go with the overworld Pokemon encounters also has that fun hunting kind of style. So you throw that into an open world, and that's just going to make things even better. but it sounds like Game Freak, they don't want to have wild Pokemon encounters for the 2019 Pokemon game, which also worries me. But from my perspective, the Zelda type of game is more suited to having a sword and going out and fighting enemies. Really, Junichi Masuda? You gotta do us like that? Come on. And then, I don't think it'd work if we just brought over the current gameplay and put it in that world. Yes, it would work, Junichi Masuda. It would work. People would be completely fine with that working. So that's kind of what we had over a year ago, but even recently, Junichi Masuda still doesn't sound like it's happening anytime soon. You said earlier there were a few things that never change in Pokemon Go, but have changed in Let's Go. With Nintendo choosing to make others like Mario and Zelda more of an open world, for the next Pokemon, did you want to experiment with more of an open world and with exploration and roaming? So the Pokemon games, sure you know, we're always trying to make them fun and appealing for all ages. Well, considering Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey were fun and appealing for all ages, that's a way of doing it. Not just older players and not just kids. So I can't really commit either way, but if we find a way. So again, now we're talking about months and months later, because this was in June 2018, this was in August of 2017. So actually, almost a year later, 10 months later, Junichi Masuda's like, if we find a way, still talking about like, it could happen, and then, once again, I think it's possible. Maybe that's something that the fans want. I think anything's possible. So Junichi Masuda is still talking about the possibility of it, and we've wasted like a year of Pokemon research and development and stuff. Find a way to preserve the fun and kind of broad appeal of Pokemon. Wouldn't that make it more broad? Either way. And also have that kind of open gameplay. That is one possibility. It's hard to say right now. So either Junichi Masuda is the ultimate troll. That's why I'm leaving that 0.1% chance that we might have an open world. That through all the pestering and through all of this stuff, that somehow it may be in, like, I don't know, it's so weird because, you know, they're talking about making it right now, an open-ish world, large-scale console experience. They're talking about they're making it now, but then they don't talk about the open world part of it. I don't know, I feel like they were just pulling some memes and they weren't actually reading the comments. They weren't taking the player feedback that people wanted. And that also goes into another thing that upsets me. 2014. Pokemon Director explains why series is becoming easier. I mean, actually, I don't even need to go through this. That's like a separate discussion entirely, but rather than any actual feedback from players, it's more accepting the realities of modern life. So, I mean, even in 2014, Junichi Masuda not really open to feedback from players, and you can really, it really shows when you go from Mega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire into Sun and Moon, into Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, into Pokemon Let's Go, that the feedback, it's mostly just like he isn't creating Pokemon for Pokemon anymore. He's not creating it for the fans. He's creating it for society in general. He sees the cultural trends and he builds Pokemon around that instead of the fan base, which creates problems. Which is also why, despite multiple interviews being pestered about this, not only since, 2017, but probably for a very long time in many interviews with many different types of player feedback, it seems like Junichi Masuda is stuck in his vision of Pokemon, and that's going to be a pretty big problem. So, it's hard to say right now. Cool. So that's definitely those types of questions. Wait. So that's definitely, with those types of questions, I wouldn't say worried, but in some way I'm always concerned that if we go and take it too far, is it no longer approachable? And this is kind of like why people were upset with the idea behind the development of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Because you do have to kind of like scale it back to where it's still accessible to everyone to a point. And I think that the hardcore players right now, they do not want what's best for Pokemon. I think we've just kind of seen that through what I've covered in my channel over the last 5+ years of what's going on. Smogon, definitely a bad direction for Pokemon. The massive approval, the massive momentum, Pokemon fans, they want more ROM hacks, they want more randomizers, they want more things that are disingenuous to Pokemon, they want more hacking, so they want all of that to become accessible, they want the handouts. So I can understand where Junichi Masuda's fears come in line, because you can see a very large portion of the Pokemon fan base become extremely toxic over taking the game too seriously and then become way too entitled about it, and that does reflect what we're seeing in how the younger generations, Generation Z, is reacting to gaming and society in general. So that's bad. So you have to make it approachable to everyone still, but not cave in to the demands. I can respect Junichi Masuda for not completely selling out, but at the same time, it seems like in response, he's not taking in all possibilities and all criticisms. He's just really stuck in his way, which people have been kind of against, because Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Let's Go, entirety of Generation 7 games not working well, even though I still believe that Generation 7 is one of the strongest generations of Pokemon. Outside the game, the designs, the representation, the lore, the anime, everything about Generation 7 is incredible, except for the games. You know, I used to be a fan of top-down shooting games like R-Type, and as time went on, shooting games just kept pursuing some of difficult, complicated direction. So he doesn't want the difficulty, he doesn't want that competitive thing to scale too hard into Pokemon, he just wants it to be something enjoyed. So again, Junichi Masuda's personal hangups kind of coming through right now. So I just want to make sure that at Pokemon, we don't make the same kind of, I don't want to say mistake, but go down the same direction. So it's like, I don't want to say I'm worried, but we're concerned. I don't want to say we're going to make some mistakes, but we don't want to have the problems that others have had. I don't think it'd be a mistake, you know. I think that Game Freak does need to take the risks and just go for it when it comes to absurdity in what they can overload into a Pokemon game that players have been asking for, but not breach what Pokemon stands for. And that's why I feel like most of the hardcore, they completely disrespect, they ruin the spirit of Pokemon. So I mean, you can still find that in-between, in the in-between. And then months later, so this is going to October, so June, July, August, September, October. Eurogamer once again. You know, so last time we spoke about that, you know, about the open world Pokemon game is kind of where this is going. Nintendo games came up, Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey. Possibility that one day Pokemon might follow suit. I know that's purposefully vague, but is that still something being considered? See, when you have so many different people like, come on, Junichi Masuda, maybe you'll click. Maybe if we just keep asking you, this is what, or telling you that this is what people are interested in and what they want answers for, maybe something will come from it. You know, is that something still being considered? Well, you know, in general, I always want to be facing new challenges and trying to do things with Pokemon. Yes, in general, but that's open world. Can you be a bit more specific? You know, it's a different matter whether players actually enjoy that kind of playstyle. We will. That's why Pokemon GO was a success. That's why you had to shut down Pixelmon. But you really know, things like setting up an AI so you know real-world Pokemon appear or different ways to appreciate the game, I'm always kind of thinking of how to approach Pokemon series from a different aspect. In that case, it's still on the cards. So, see, it's on the cards. It's possible. Anything's possible. You know, it's going to happen at some point in the future, probably, but one, it shows that it's far off in the future, that it's still on the cards, which means they probably still haven't even begun working on it. And if they have, it's still in such a rudimentary form that we're not even, like, at that development of game. You know, that's 2 main series games away, if it's even going to be main series, if it isn't going to be botched in some kind of spin-off game. So that's kind of it. This is the last thing I could really find about the main series, open world, discussions like that. But I think we have more than enough to kind of very confidently say that Pokemon 2019 is not going to be what you expect, in that this perfect, just expression of Pokemon using the Switch to the fullest potential, giving us that Breath of the Wild experience. It doesn't even seem like that is going to be a possibility for a pretty long time, and Junichi Masuda is stuck in some kind of funk that started with Pokemon Black and White. Yeah, Pokemon Black and White isn't like the massive, perfect savior game or, you know, the last great Pokemon experience. It's what started this trend, and it's what's been making things worse and worse over the years. So, guys, enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.